And we're the boys.
Yeah.
Oh, we're the boys.
Boys.
We're the boys.
We're the boys.
We're the boys.
We're
And
the
Anna
boys.
is a boy, and Mitch is a boy, and Chris is a boy, and Tim is a boy. And together we're the boys and the boys.
Hey
Welcome
guys.
to a new podcast.
Yeah, about that. We are going to go get Sheri in the deep dark dungeon. And dun 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 dun.
We're recording, Sheri. We're actually recording right now, Sheri.
Don't listen to them. Everything they said is completely true.
It's so don't listen. That's pretty good. We're starting a podcast right now. You want to come join?
Hello.
Hello.
Are we
Ready
recording?
for?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Boys Podcast. We've said that like 3 times now. I am Mitchell. Beside me is Tim. He can't see him. Beside me on the other side is Sheri. You can't see him. And then Chris is beside her. Right now it's just the Boys Podcast. Just us boys going back to basics.
The original boys.
The original boys. So, I have a topic for today that I thought would be nice to talk about. And I don't think we've talked about it before. Alright, ready? So, Mother's Day just passed us, and this will probably be going up by Father's Day,
Okay.
which is in June. So my
Right.
question is, what are some of your best memories of your parents?
So mom and dad?
Yeah. You could choose your mom or dad, or you could choose something of them together, or 2 things of them separate, or whatever. Just happy memories.
Give us product.
For Mother's Day and Father's Day, I felt like it'd be inappropriate to give all of our sad memories of our parents. I felt like that would kind of, I mean, I'd love to if you guys want to switch our brand around.
All right, no, we'll take it. We'll take your suggestion, but
All right.
but we'll change it. We're gonna do sad memories.
Okay, very good.
So the saddest memory of my parents was when they
Beat you?
when they yes, but there was
Tennis. Beat you at tennis. That's
yes,
what
because I have played tennis before. I'm sure. I haven't. But my dad was about to spank me, and I had a book in my pants.
That's your
Nice.
best moment
And
with your parents.
yeah, it was actually really funny.
So could he tell that?
He spanked me, and it was a button book, so it went moo. So good.
Do you think he was fooled by it?
That is really good.
His first reaction was like, "What?" and he spanked me again. Whack. Yeah, like it was like some duck or something. And it was So.
I wonder if he remembers that because he must have thought that was hilarious.
No, yeah, he remembers me sticking all kinds of stuff down.
All right. So
Whoa.
I said your best memory with your parents, but really it can just be like something you love about your parents, or like a time that your parents like did something that like really affected you positively, and you're like, this is great. Or it can be negative, like Tim. That's fine,
Well,
just
it
something
is a
about your
football.
parents. I'm hitting real low bar, guys. So like, somewhat delivered.
Literally something.
Who are my
Tim mooed with his dad. He mooned his dad, and
I see what you did there.
Mood, ha ha ha.
So, does anybody have some good memories about their parents?
Yeah. I
nope.
have
I'm
one.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I apologize for that. That was an insensitive joke, Mom. I know you're listening. I have many positive memories. Now someone else go first.
Because I can't think of one.
Well,
Yeah, go.
oh sorry. I'll say something about my mom now, and then we can do other people, and then I'll come back and I'll say something about my dad.
Feeling insecure.
Yeah, I feel so insecure. Well, here's the thing. This is less of like specifically a memory that is like, oh, this was an amazing moment. Like, because she does so many things for me. Like recently, I've wanted to go to the store Beau Chapeau for a really long time, and she brought me there recently, and she bought me a top hat for my birthday. Well, not top hat, but she bought me a hat for my birthday, and I got to try on all the hats and everything. But that's not my memory. I just snuck that one in. My thing is less of a specific memory of like this was something great that happened, and more something that I appreciate about her character and who she is.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I was thinking. I can't think of a time.
Because here's the thing, I'm a kid. Well, I'm very insecure, and I want to know that people care about me without me requiring it. And not the one time, but the most significant times that I've felt that is when I've been sick, because I get super sick. Like, I have asthma to the point where when I first had asthma, I didn't have puffers or anything, so I ended up in the hospital for like 2 weeks because I was so sick. And so whenever I get sick, no matter what, if I'm super sick, I like have to like go and sleep in the living room so that my head can like stay up and I can be up in a sitting up position, or else I die.
Right.
And no matter what, if I'm coughing in the middle of the night, even though she like goes to sleep real early and has a hard time like not sleeping since she has to wake up very early, she'll always like get up, like get medicine and make sure to take care of all of my needs. And that like was over the course of my entire life. And it was just those moments that made me go like, she really cares about me, that she like is willing to go through this like without me asking or anything. She's willing to take on like the responsibility of making sure that I'm cared for.
You're still her little baby.
You
Yeah.
are.
So, and that just happened yesterday. So
I remember like a very specific time that I got sick, and it was like I wasn't feeling good all evening, and I went to bed, and I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna throw up, and I'm like, I gotta go talk to Mom, and I go into their bedroom. It was probably about like 2 a.m. and I'm like, Mom, I don't feel blah, and I like projectile vomited all over my mom and dad, like in the middle of their sleep. So that, and I'd gotten on the curtains and everything. So my dad, my mom had to change me.
Sherry, that's gross. Why would you do that, Sherry? That's gross.
My dad was like up at like vacuuming at like 3 a.m. and like they had to change their sheets and stuff. But I ended up getting the chicken pox, like really bad.
Ooh.
And for like 5 days, like I had this calamine lotion, because you can't itch them. You're not supposed to itch them.
But...
It feels awesome when you do, but it only makes them itch worse. So my mom, like just to comfort me, we had this back in the 80s, the popular like children's thing was called, like Christian children's thing was called Music Machine. And do you remember the Music Machine?
Yeah.
And yes, exactly. And so it was like there was a side 1 and side 2, and each side was like 25 minutes long. And my mom would get up every 25 minutes to turn the record over, just to keep me calm and keep me peaceful. Because as long as I was listening to that, I was like, okay.
Aww.
Yeah, so she would get up every 25 minutes, just at the end of the song, turn it over for like 3 days. Like, yeah, I know. I've never ever forgotten that. I was like, and I was only like maybe, I don't know, 35. No. No, I was like 5. I was
like 35. I was still living with my parents.
And I just couldn't be okay without that music playing.
But yeah, that's one time that I was like, okay, my mom's pretty cool.
Right. Hey, Chris, we're looking at you, buddy.
It's okay. I can talk.
Hi, Chris.
Can you say your name to everybody? Good memories about your mom.
My name's Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. And why are you a part of Alcohol's Anonymous?
Alcohol is anonymous.
I like water.
That is horrible.
You need to change that. Here's a beer.
All right, so what's your thing if you have one, Chris? And if you don't, your mother will hate you.
Toys R Us.
Just like Toys R Us.
Yes.
Literally, I cannot leave this room in my head. I cannot think of
What do you mean?
anything.
dude.
He's spiritually attached to this room.
I don't even mean like my
What
mom. I
happened
just
in
mean
this
like I
weekend?
can't even think of anything.
Mm.
I think it's like, you know, when you have like a brain fart and you just can't think of anything.
Yeah.
I remember
farted, but
so
inside.
many times your mom helping you with homework.
That's a good one.
Like, both of you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Both
her
of you should be
evenings-
thankful, quite frankly.
Is that a good memory about our mom?
Well, just in the time that I lived here, I remember thinking, wow, like she spends a lot of time helping them.
I have one. I'm just wondering if I can skip Chris.
Yeah, skip Chris. Who cares about him? I mean,
okay. I have permission by everyone to tell this.
Sheri didn't.
So
who are you?
What's your name?
I'm Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
What do you have to say about a deep insecurity about your mom? Oh wait, that's not
I'm
a question.
insecure. I think I should go along with the trend.
Mm-hmm.
So I had chicken pox.
I didn't have chicken pox.
Yeah, but you had asthma. It's worse.
Yeah,
it
you're
is.
Right. You're right.
So I had chicken pox, and my mom would always like go and like pick up new DVDs, even though it was annoying because every day she'd go and she would look all over the library for DVDs for me to watch. And I wanted to watch this one show. I think it was like I had the thought in my head. It was like Western, and there was like a family and
Bonanza?
Bonanza.
Bonanza, baby.
I was thinking about bananas. So then, yeah, she'd like look all over for bananas, and like I watched all of them, and that was my first time binge watching.
Right.
Because I watched from 5 o'clock in the morning. That was when the
addiction started.
Till like 12 o'clock at night, because I couldn't get up off the couch, and so many times she would like switch the DVD, and she would push next if the remote wasn't working, or I literally didn't get up off that couch for a week, and I watched every single one of them, probably twice.
Wow. That's awesome.
He's like, my favorite memory of Mom is how I got to watch movies and ignore her.
I have to interject with another memory.
Yay!
That also has to do with being sick, but it's not. It's more like a funny story as opposed to. It involves my mother, and my mother being a total champ, but it's like super embarrassing for me. So when I was 16. We had gone to church in the morning on Christmas morning, and I remember just being like, my stomach was off. I came home, I smelled the turkey in the oven, and I was like, oh boy, I'm not feeling well. So I went up and I had a full motion waterbed at that time, because in the 80s and early 90s, waterbeds were like the cool thing. Yeah. So I'm trying to lie perfectly still on my waterbed, and I'm going like this.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I'm feeling seasick, and I'm like, I literally physically can't lie still. And then all of a sudden I'm like, it's coming. But you can't quickly get out of a waterbed, because it's like your bum kind of sinks to the bottom.
Or you have to roll or something.
And the edge is always a little bit higher than the mattress. Yeah. So I'm like trying to
might as well be in quicksand.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to push myself up out of this bed, and then all of a sudden I just vomit again, like all over the floor, and I pooped my pants at the same time. So I'm just like, Mom! And she's downstairs trying to cook Christmas dinner. She's got a million things going on. She comes up, and I'm just like poo and vomit everywhere. And she's like, oh my gosh, just get into the bath. And like, I'm not a child, I'm 16. This is horrible.
Oh my god.
So I get in the tub, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, she's got a bucket next to the tub, and she's like, go like throw up in the bucket if you have to. She's washing my sheets, like again, totally taking control of the situation. I'm just crying. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh no. And I go and I throw up in the bucket, but I poop in the bathtub. I just kept pooping and vomiting at the same time because I was vomiting so hard. Wow. And then, so she's like, oh my gosh, get out of the bathtub. And I'm like, oh. So then she sent my brother Steven, who to this day has never let me live this down, to go to Shoppers and get me some adult diapers because I physically could not stop myself.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
That's hilarious.
But then, like, when you said, like, you couldn't get up to change the channel, Well, my mom like put on the Lawrence Welk show, which is like this variety
know
show from the 70s. It's like painful. It's like folk singers and stuff. And so she's got like a 6-hour long tape. And like I have to like get up off the couch to get the remote, but I physically can't. So I'm just stuck there watching the Lawrence Welk show, and I'm just like, oh, and I'm like, Mom, nobody can hear me, so I'm just like, and I just remember this like super chipper couple being like, doing the ABCs of love or something like, A, you're adorable, B, you're beautiful, C, you're so charming, D, you're my darling, and I'm like, no, I can't do this, but I'm just like, Mom, I'm like reaching for the remote, I can't reach it, so I'm stuck watching the Lawrence Welk show, so that's my another.
So that was a happy memory and a painful one.
It was painful and it was happy.
I have another memory I just thought of too, and this one doesn't have to do with sickness or puking or pooping, but Sherry's next story will have those two and peeing, so stay tuned.
Why do we
farting.
always go lowbrow? I feel like it always goes to poop and pee.
Here's the best topics. My thing that I wanted to bring up to get us out of the sick aspect.
Right. Yes.
So you know how like moms they're nice, but they're not all cool. You know what I'm saying? You know, you feel me, right? Not all the moms are cool.
I think your mom's really cool. Do you think?
Well, let me put it this way, okay? When you do some type of event, dads are like, sure, let's get involved. But usually moms are like, I'll stay with the other moms and I'll make sure to care for you because I'm lovely. But here's the thing. Well, you're
in your family, yes,
you're a
probably.
boy. But here's the thing. My mom's cool. And what I mean by that is we recently, like, and by recently I mean like 5 months ago maybe, we went to a Sky Zone with trampolines.
Oh, fun.
And when we went there, there were lots of mothers who were there standing around and watching everyone jumping, being like, oh, nice.
She did it.
My mom, she went out with us and was jumping on trampolines.
No.
I posted a vlog of the footage of my mom jumping on trampolines, and she had so much fun, and it made me so happy.
That's super cool.
I
Go, Robin! We love you!
Yeah! Shout out to our biggest fan!
Yeah!
My
That's
mom.
seriously cool.
My mom. Right? And I mean, because here's the thing, you can be like, oh, moms are pretty cool, they like to get involved, but how many moms can you think of would do that?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, come on. That's a pretty cool mom. That's a pretty cool mom.
That's a super cool mom.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris, what's your memory?
You've had time.
I mean, not like I want to find like, you know, the big one type thing. You know, like a
just
super awesome
anyone.
one. I mean, like, while thinking through, I mean, one memory was, went out, I think it was for Mother's Day last year, or
Paris
her
Crepes?
birthday, and went to Paris Crepes, and we had like ignoring my mom and going to the food. Oh my gosh.
Now he's just gonna talk about the crepes.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Chris, how were those crepes? Pretty good, or?
My mom's awesome. It's because of my mom we have Mother's Day and go and eat crepes. This is how good this is.
See, that's the thing. That's what we do. We either talk about poop, or somehow Chris ends up talking about food.
Anyways, we had a good time and a good chat and stuff. But now let's get to the good part. So like she brought this like plaque from France. It was after we went to France, and for the guy, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you."
Oh, that's when you went, just the two of you.
So we got like
Is
a
that
meal, and instead of getting a crepe, we got like a meal. So we got some like the French bread chop. The French bread chopped. We got like different jams to go on it, and I don't remember really what else, but like, so Sheri just folded a bunch of clothes and it's on the edge of the couch, and Mitchell and Tim's daring on pushing it off of the couch because it's piled high. So now she's
So
just
I moved
moving
it.
them.
Sheri
That's
protectively
our
moved it as
giggling.
fast as she could.
Yes, I did.
Oh, and then the guy gave us champagne.
Oh. He was underage.
You said that too loud, Sheri.
I mean, underage.
It was underage
Yeah, I
alcohol.
got nothing.
Oh, so it was just grape juice?
Yeah, it was underage alcohol.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a really good cover up.
Yeah.
If only someone edited it like closer together so that it was like less obvious that it's a cover up. That person won't do that. They'll leave this entire thing in.
Or just took out
But
the
imagine.
part of me being.
I don't
Underage.
understand why it's cover up.
Well,
I
because
mean, he didn't age it long enough, and then he gave it to you.
Right.
he could get in trouble.
Hey, remember that time Chris
You
drank
could get in
alcohol and
trouble
drank?
for-
They know who,
Alright.
what
Oh.
company, and
Yeah.
they know that he gave alcohol to an underage kid. That's,
But no, Tim is talking
illegal.
about underaging the grapes.
All right, so should we go around and do
Okay,
daddy
back
stuff?
to the grapes,
Yeah.
guys.
Unless you
So-
weren't done your thing.
I was just gonna keep going
About food? All right, then
Sorry,
let me.
Mom.
It's
Let
so
me jump in.
typical. Okay, so Mom, I have a great memory of you.
Is it me?
Yes.
Yay!
Well, I might as well not share it now.
Share
Like
for her.
when I don't know. So like what you did quality of Mom.
Mhm.
I think my mom.
He's gonna rate his mom. Put it up on one of the
So
sites.
I rated a 10 out of 10.
Whoa! That's really high quality mom you got right there.
Yeah. Can't buy her.
High quality.
I mean,
So what's the story?
So I want to tell a story. So my mom, I find she's really like selfless. So
Definitely.
like
I
when
would've never
situations
guessed that.
come to it, that's because you're her
Saying
son.
He's saying it for them, Chris. He's saying it for
For
them.
everyone who's never met her.
But all of them also know how selfless she is, so you still raise a good point.
Her heart is
So-
to serve.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's like, you know, she doesn't really, it doesn't seem like she thinks about herself, how she feels. She just does. She's like, oh, there's a need, I want to fill it. This person, like, if I need something, she just does it. And for example, lunches for school. I tell her that I'm gonna make it, but then I don't, and then she soups up this like best meal I've ever had in like 5 minutes before I have to leave for the bus, and somehow like, you know, and like and it's like, you know, and she does that like, you know, and like also like my homework. You would in high
Come
school,
home and
and
finish.
like, I'd come to her, and like every time I'd come to her almost, she'd stop everything she was doing, even if she was busy, and she'd
I
come
saw
down and
that
spend
happen so many
hours and
times.
hours with me. And like with this like serious thing, and it's like it just amazes me that like no matter what she was doing, like I always wondered like, how does my mom have nothing important to ever do? But it's like, no, it's because I was more important to her than everything that was important, and it's really beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
relate.
That's very good, Mitchell. I'm happy you can relate to my memory.
I just wanted to say that before my mom was like, I helped Mitchell a lot too. I failed
Don't justify.
I failed math. I failed
math because you're.
Thanks a lot, Mom.
How does this help?
No, I failed math because, well, for a few reasons. I had a math class that was in a Christian private school, so it made it extra hard.
Yeah.
And it was the advanced math, and also the teacher did something that I don't think he should have done, where like he would give us homework every night, but then one of the kids was like, "Do we have to do this homework?" And he was like, "You don't have to do any of the homework. It's helpful, but you don't have to do anything. Like, and he did it in that way of being like, this is for your benefit, but you don't have to do, like, he was trying to do it in a way to, like, to prove a point, but all it did was make my young self go, oh, so I don't have to. And so then I made the bad decision. I didn't do my homework, and then I failed the class.
Right.
Which makes sense. And the reason I say that is because then I had to take summer school to pass that thing, and my mom spent the entire time making sure to teach it to me properly.
Right.
Take that, teacher.
You made a kid fail.
Yeah.
It's all your fault.
Yeah.
I think
We're
in
definitely,
high school,
definitely. Imagine if my mom failed me.
I think in high
Yeah,
school,
she was
like,
your teacher.
your homework should be a percentage of your overall grade. Like, I think you should get graded on your homework.
I don't think we should get homework, but I can also understand the importance of it.
I think we should work.
No,
Yeah.
I honestly don't agree with school. Nobody should learn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
what
Well,
is
here's
good
what,
learning?
you know what, this is what I think it should be.
No!
Oh, you're right, I apologize.
You're welcome.
I think it's different in university because you're older and you're an adult and you can make your own decisions. But when you're a kid, it's part of teaching discipline. It's part of teaching, like, a routine. You know, like you go to school, you come home, you have an hour of playtime, you do your homework, you have your dinner, you go to bed.
Yeah, but see, that just doesn't work though, because the problem is,
especially at Christian private schools,
yeah,
they over homework you.
But the problem is that homework, you're giving homework to a kid who doesn't know what he's doing, so that he'll learn.
I mean, kind of.
Why?
Well, no.
You want to teach the kids. So if anything, what you should be
I have the
doing in
opposite
high
argument.
schools at the least
Yeah, we're all
is give kids more time in school, but they're already spending all their day. But I'm saying configure the day so that you have time to be in class and do your homework. And you're supposed to be in class as part of the class to do your homework. And okay, I understand if kids are like genius and they're just like, okay, I finished the homework as soon as the teacher gave it to us, then they can leave early. But which is what you can do in university too. And
the teacher needs time to teach the concepts.
The kids, exactly. No, I'm saying after the teacher teaches the concepts, they should have then time after class.
Because here's the thing.
And do the homework there, so that if the kids like, because for me it was more like I didn't have time. Like they left us maybe 5 minutes at the end of class.
Yeah.
But then like it's like, okay, it's 5 minutes. I have time to pull out my books and put them back in my backpack.
Right.
Like
there's
why weren't your books already out?
Maybe
Maybe that's part of your problem right there.
I'm saying if you're there to listen and then you're taking notes, and then they give you homework, well, you got to pull out your calculator because maybe you weren't like, I don't know, you get
smart,
do stuff. So then but what I'm saying is that like it's like an hour and a half of homework. If you're gonna give the kids homework every day, but then send them home to parents who both have to work, nowadays, because both parents have to work to basically live in a house now, almost. It's like, well, they've got, like, I think they should do a study. How many parents actually help kids learn their homework because they're not going to teach it to themselves?
Well, I agree that you should be able to understand the concept, and then once you've understood the concept in class, then you go home to practice it. That's what homework is intended for.
But then you shouldn't be
learn
graded
it at
for
home.
it.
something, please.
But if you know what you're doing, the whole grading process is to make sure that you know what you're doing.
For sure, and I 100% get that. Here's where I intervene, because here's the thing. What some teachers do, which I think is good, is you have work that you are given in class once you've learned the concept, and then you can either finish that in class, or you can do it as homework if you don't have enough time to finish in class. However, there are a good amount of teachers who have you do work in class, and then once you finish that work in class, they assign you other homework. And that's where I go, And here's the thing. I get what you're saying about, like, they're making you do more of it so that you remember it.
So
But
they want you to
one,
feel like a
they give you
failure.
way too much. And two, there's a certain point when repeating the same thing becomes useless to you, and you're like, why am I doing like 100 questions that are all the exact same thing but with different numbers, but it takes me like 10 minutes to figure it out, and it feels like a huge waste of time, right? But here's what I think they should do. Either one, they should do it the way that I mentioned, which is like teaching it, having them start working on it, or finish it, and then whatever they don't finish, they bring home and work on, because then you still have... Because here's my other point, which is that when you're a kid, you're only a kid for a certain amount of time, and I understand that in that time, you should be brought up to be educated.
Uh-huh.
But when you're a kid, like, a part of being a kid is having fun. And, like, for me at least, especially at a Christian private school, I had so much homework that I never had time to, like, go out and have fun and play and that type of thing, because I always felt like I was, like, stuck doing my homework.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like, and that's because, that's more so the ones who are like, hey, you answered 100 questions in class, now answer 100 questions at home instead of like having it a part of it. But here's the other way that I would accept that. And this works more so for math. I don't know about other subjects, but if in class you essentially learned the concept, and for example, with math, like addition or something, like if you learned the concept of like 4 plus 10, 7 plus 9, those type things.
Uh-huh.
But then when you go home, the specific thing they give you is like challenges of relating it to real life. So for example, like then having the type of questions that are like, this person has apples, and then like they like say, because you're at your home, go and like get those things and use that to help you. So like, in other words, if they used homework as a way to help you ingrain it in your normal life, to essentially say, hey, take something, you can even do it with writing, being like, here's how you use commas, now go home and write a story about something that relates to your life, right? So in other words, you learn the concept in school and then you relate it to your life once you get back home.
Yeah, but I find that they teach the concept, but the thing is, you're kids and you're learning something new and you don't even know how to learn yet, and you don't know how to consume knowledge. Some kids are natural at it, but like, and then they teach it to your face, and then they go home and expect you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Even if it is that. Even if it is, go grab 2 apples, go grab 3 apples. And they're like, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then they bring it back, and then it's like, the question's like, now, how many apples do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, like, maybe in some circumstances, but when it gets to times and other things,
I get what you're saying.
But like, I think that like,
but
people,
I feel like
they should at least have an hour of class and an hour of homework, and they shouldn't give you extra, because then it's like they want you to feel like a failure, right?
I don't think anyone's like, what if we don't feel like a failure? I think that's just what teachers think.
That's what teachers think.
I think you're taking that from it because that's how you felt, because it was harder than you wanted it to be.
I don't think
it's not. It's not at all. It's no teacher's intention. I know.
Except my mom's, when she caught you, she was like, I'm going to beat that kid.
That's weird.
At
but
tennis.
so that's why I peed my pants. I'm joking, Mrs. Miller. So then I think there should be an hour after class where that gives the students time to do it. That hour that you should be at home. And not just that, but there's questions. There's questions. If you have a question for the teacher, for the kids who don't care, well, they'll sit there, right? And it's really obvious that they don't care, or they can't focus.
So are you advocating for, like, instead of a school day being from 8 till 3, it's 8 till 4, and 3 to 4 is
I'm the opposite.
I'm not thinking about I'm thinking about, say, like, if
he wants teachers to teach faster.
No, I don't want them to teach faster. I do think that some, like, teachers just read out of the book and then expect you to go home and have learned something.
I've had that too.
But there's other teachers that are super good, and so then, like, I just think that they should do the teaching part and then have basically the same, like if you're going to give lots of homework, like if it's something like I don't know, something that gives lots of homework,
and at the very least, like, use the homework.
Then, like, have an hour.
Because, like, a part of teaching isn't just explaining the concept, but also, like, going through examples of it. So, like, use a part of the homework to essentially be like, okay, question 1, like, start giving the answers and use it to explain it, so that, one, they are kind of doing it and they feel like they're accomplishing something instead of, like, using some other sample to learn it, but then have way more homework. Like, it's like, they feel like they're getting through it.
Of the
And then start,
that you're doing.
exactly, and then start actually doing it by relating it, by being like, okay, now who in the class wants to take a turn, that type of thing, and that way you are learning it through doing it, and it also puts less pressure on you later because you already have done some of it, and it's...
That's what's perfect. The
That's a good
teachers in college, they do a lot of things that I would think the way they should be doing it in high school, which is he literally does the homework with you, but he changes the numbers. So if it's something complicated like estimating, how much wood has to go on these walls. Well, how do you calculate linear feet? Not how many square feet on the wall, but just how many linear feet of wood do you need if the wood's like 3 inches, and all these calculations.
Yeah.
So all he does is, here's your homework, but I've changed the numbers. So it's the exact sheet that he's giving us for homework, but he's changed all the numbers. So he literally teaches us the processes of our homework. So then when we go home, we're just repeating that, but it's helping it build into us. And so then, naturally, our minds eat up the knowledge and change it into other things of our life.
Right.
But the thing is, it's slamming that one thing home. And I find that a lot of teachers, they teach you something, but it's actually just like they're teaching it because it's convenient to teach that way, but then your homework's a bit different.
Yeah.
And like everything's different. It's like the look of it, the math, like say like it's in type, it's all in graphs. So you have like 3/5, for 3 over 5.
Yeah.
But then when you go into type, it's 3 and then the like sideways /5. So everything looks different. Everything
And
is
then when
Also,
back to the
like,
bigger
they
equation.
teach you by how it looks in the equation, and I'm like, okay, I get this, and then I can finish it all, and then I get home to do homework, and then there's like 7 word questions that I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know why I can't figure out while reading.
It's like they teach you
Because it's
theory.
like,
They teach you
if the
theory and they expect you to do it
percentage
somewhere
of an
else.
apple is to the power of the strawberry, how many strawberries can the apple circumference fit in? And I'm like, I don't know. Why can't you just give me numbers and I'll try to figure out by how you taught me?
And I've gone back to teachers with homework like that, exactly like that, where they teach you with the percentages, and it looks like a percentage, and then they give you word questions, and you don't know how to do a word question. They don't teach you that, right? They didn't teach you that.
I get the importance of a word
and
question.
they come back and they're like, oh, well, we learned it in class. It's like, when was I
'cause
not there? I was
they
there yesterday,
typically
right?
do
And he's
like 1 or 2 at the end of word, which are the harder ones, and then
But here's the other thing.
typically.
Here's the other thing that also makes
obviously
school
there's also-
harder in the long run, because we're talking about teachers who like could do things to make things easier, and there are teachers who do that, and there's other teachers who don't. And what I think it comes down to is teachers who love their jobs and want to help the students, and teachers who don't care or hate their jobs, and therefore they're like, I'll just read the notes and then let the student do the work because I don't want to be here.
Right.
And my mom loved the work.
Right.
So if you go back to mom's, she was great.
I did have that. I didn't have a negative experience with the way I was taught at all. And I went to Christian schools too. But I think everybody learns differently too. There's some students that struggle with some things and not with others, and certainly if you have where English I really thrived, but if somebody struggles with reading or comprehension, that's going to be a challenge, and it's going to take you 2-3 times as long just to get through a story than it would with somebody who doesn't have a reading issue. You know what I mean? So
and that's the other thing.
Everybody learns differently.
And that's the other thing. That's a good thing to bring up, because me, I'm a person who can go through questions quite fast. But my sister, she can know the same type of equation, but she'll take a longer time going through it.
Right.
And it's one of those things where I could then finish homework in like an hour, but she might take the entire night to finish it because she goes through it slower.
Yeah.
And maybe there should be some type of like understanding of that, where you go, okay, like you base off people's ability, but at the same time that would probably be unfair because the person's like, why am I getting 50 questions and they're only getting 10 and that type thing. But
and that
but you don't have to tell them.
you from trying. Yeah,
Well, I'd
that's
sit
true.
them beside each other.
You get 10 questions, you get 90. What? Because I hate you.
And the problem is the schools are like the classrooms are getting bigger.
Yeah.
Because there's always cutbacks.
The kids are getting dumber.
and there's not as much time for one-on-one help. So the teachers are, like even the really dedicated ones who would stay after and help, like there's not enough resources, I think, for everybody, because everybody learns different ways. Some people are visual, some people are audio, some people like struggle with reading, some people struggle with math. So it's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you compare our education system to, like the Chinese or the Japanese, like we're all dummies compared to them. Like,
Yeah, well,
So-
if you think about it,
He's trapping me.
France, apparently, their school system is super difficult, but they take in mind everyone's disabilities.
mhm.
They have like special classes for like the people who are super duper smart that can't even fit in with the other people,
Yeah.
and then they have like other classes for people who learn visually, audibly. They
What about the
try
people
to
who don't
fill
wanna
in
try
all
very
those different
hard?
cracks. Yeah, that they have a special one. It's called
Detention.
You get to
It's
go.
called detention.
it's called LLI.
LLI?
Yeah.
Is that a LLI?
It's jail for juvenile detention.
No,
Hey,
it's lazy liquor industry.
Lazy liquor.
That
I
was-
like how you didn't even relate it whatsoever to school. You just gave up on that aspect.
No, they just teach them how to drink.
All right, I say
Lazy linguistics.
we end
Yeah,
this
lazy.
podcast here, and we talk about the dad stuff in the next podcast.
Yeah, because it kind of veered from parents to education.
But I think that's okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we should
Parents'
make sure
education,
we shouldn't
same.
rush the dad things as if they're less important than moms.
That's true. And then you can actually use the podcast for dads, like near Father's Day.
Well, sure, yeah.
I think that moms are awesome, and there's nothing else to say. No, there's an infinity amount of things.
But we're not gonna say them.
Except Chris doesn't like his mom because he couldn't think of anything to say.
He did. In the end, he thought of
Okay,
something.
Chris, you
He
gotta
thought of
share
the fa-
one more memory
know what it
to
was?
end this
Yeah.
podcast.
Chris went, I like food. Hey, I remember one time I ate food with Mom.
Right.
Chris, you got anything else? Come on, just a tiny little nugget. Were you like watching? Talk about when you watched a movie with your mom and she really liked it and it inspired you and made you very happy.
Oh, I have a memory that your mom has of
He's
you.
sharing.
I have a memory that your mom has of both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But Chris was about to share with
Were
me.
you?
His
I can't-
eyes just filled up with fear.
Think.
So they went to the movie Letters to Juliet, which was the story of these people who would go to Italy and place the letters to their lost loved ones on the wall.
Gross.
And then there were people behind the scenes who would like choose the letters and like try to connect them to their loved ones. So Tim and Chris, their mom was in the middle and they went to the theater to watch it. And Tim and Chris were all like, "Oh, this is so romantic! This is so sweet!" And they like you guys were like, I don't know, maybe like 12 and 9, like
Sweet.
just really like definitely like old enough where most kids would be like, this is lame, but you guys were like totally into it. And then
It shows you were raised well.
the lady
incriminating.
the lady behind them after the movie was over, the lady behind them said, "Oh, your sons are so lovely. I wish my boys would come watch a movie like this
Aw.
with me." Yeah, and she was so tickled by that you guys were so soft-hearted and tender to appreciate it.
That was a great story about my mom.
Let me throw
No, I
this.
said it was a story your mom
about us.
had about you.
Hey, Chris, let me throw something at you, because this is something that I'm going to say that maybe we can all relate to, maybe we can't. But I am a person who likes deep conversations and like opening up about things with someone I'm very close to, and for me that person is my mom. My mom is the person who I can go to and talk about things with and kind of get her thoughts and have very deep discussion. Come on guys, jeez, calm down. And yeah, and so she's that person for me who, like, all my life I would like want to talk about things, and some people weren't that interested because I think too deeply about things, and I guess that's a problem. But she would make sure to take time to do that, and
Yay,
great.
Mrs. Beller.
Are you saying none of you do that? All of you hate your moms? Is that what I'm getting from this?
I never had that relationship with my mom.
Yeah,
to be
me.
perfectly honest.
I mean, sometimes, once in a while, I'll go
You guys
to...
snuggle your mom all the time.
Oh, yeah. We used to cuddle her all the time.
You
That
guys
was the thing.
always, anytime I'd see you guys and your mom would just like come home or just be doing something, you guys would be like, Mom, and you like go over
I wanna
and you like
cuddle.
crawl into
Your
bed.
mommy's boys.
But, like...
I
Oh,
remember
her
just,
singing,
like-
her singing like bedtime songs to me.
Aw.
Da, da,
That's a
da,
good memory.
da, da, da,
That's lovely.
da, 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 and getting cuddles all the time. But like,
Oh, that's sweet. That's a good memory.
but yeah, talking with my mom. I mean, I'll talk with her once in a while, but typically it's just my dad and I that, like, usually, like a lot of time, like I talk with my dad and like
That's fair.
ask him what to do
Really?
in these situations. Oh yeah, all
To be
the
fair,
time.
your dad is a deep thinker, and my mom is a super deep thinker. So for me, like, my mom was where I went, where I was like, oh, I know we're gonna like really delve into this.
Right.
Yeah, but my
You're
dad's.
saying that your mom is our dad?
Yes, my mom is your dad. Did you not know this?
Where did you guys grow up?
Tim, I would say you talked to your mom more than your dad. At least you did growing up, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was more stuff like, Mommy, or like, Mom.
Both.
Yeah.
Great.
Plus a third.
But I mean, like, but my dad, like, he's a lot like me, like, crazy a lot. And like growing up, like, you know, he's had the same struggle, or had to deal with the same things that I did. But that was probably like after for a couple of years I was born, so now I have to deal with the same things he passed on to me. But like, you know, so a lot of things like that is probably why I talk to him a lot. I don't know.
So what I've
Yeah.
gotten from this is that I love my
It's
mom, and
relatable.
you guys are like, my mom's sort of fine, I guess.
I said my mom's all.
I know. I'm just trying to make myself seem better than you guys, so that my mom loves me so much.
My stepmom is awesome. I love my stepmom.
Who's that?
What?
Lillian.
Esther was your.
Oh, I thought you were meaning my mom.
No, Lillian. Lillian's my stepmom. I'm closer to Lillian than I ever was with my mom.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Tell
She's
us your
way
secret.
more.
Did you puke up on her too?
No.
Oh, okay.
My
Oh, she
mom
took
was a
care of
very good mom. Like, she was a very good mom, but
Yeah.
she wasn't somebody that I could talk to.
Oh, so she was like a successful mom, 100% successful mom, but not a very good friend.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes you can't be friends with
Lillian
your
is
mom.
actually like somebody that I can talk to about anything. Like, she's my confidant and I'm hers. Like, I think it also has to do with the fact that she didn't raise me. So, you know, like,
So you can be friends.
we can be friends. We don't have to go through the whole mother and daughter battle when you're being raised, you know. But no, she's totally my friend. Like, my friend. I don't even really consider her a parent, really. But like, I could never talk as openly with my mom as I could. And it's kind of like both my mom and dad were very like if I was to tell them anything that if I was to confess that I did something wrong, I would get into trouble. There was no grace for sharing. So then I ended up
They're
hiding.
so focused on discipline.
Yes. So then I ended up hiding and lying and sort of like Luke, you know, because you didn't want to get into trouble.
Yeah, because you weren't like it's so sad because like you were confessing at first, which is what
and
they
being
should.
Truthful.
But then it's like, then it's like through the truth, then turn to lies because
I would get in
they were
trouble,
actually
they'd be
creating
disappointed.
almost a disobedient person, which is so sad.
Yeah, the number one thing that I have decided for a long time now that I'm going to do when I have children is essentially be like, if you do things wrong, like, I will understand and I'll still have to discipline you because I need to teach you, but I will give you grace. But if you lie about it, that is where there's going to be problems. Like, essentially teaching my children that I will accept them no matter what they've done. And I will, like, give them grace no matter what they've done.
Right.
But if they are, like, and I'm doing that to say, like, please, like, don't lie to me about it. Feel like you can come to me about anything.
And I think there's also, like, you know, like, I know your parents did it with you, where, you know, like, yeah, if you choose to smoke, that's your choice, but there are consequences, you know? So talking about the consequences of bad decisions and where they can lead you. But, like, ultimately, they're your choices, but bad choices can lead you.
Once I was old enough,
yeah, once you were old enough to, you know, it's not like they were like, here, you're 2, you know, here's a cigarette.
Well, are you
Now
saying...
there's consequences.
I was 10 or 8.
Was it one of the things where it's like, oh, I found a cigarette. Oh, here, you're going to smoke an entire pack.
I was 6. I was 6.
You were 6?
I was younger than that, actually. No, before we came here, when we were living in out on the farm in old great grandma and grandpa's house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I was always smoking a pencil, and I think it was like 3 or 4, probably 4. And then my
Parents
dad's
don't
like, "Do you
understand that."
understand what you're doing?"
Right.
And then I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretending that I'm smoking. It's cool. It's
Parents
cool,
don't
dude, guys."
understand.
And then I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, it's cool, but like, yeah, I know you think it's cool, but you're symbolizing something that's like really bad for you, and if you think it's cool later on, you might like." Think that it's fine to just do it, and do you understand? And he's like, and I was like, no, it's just cool, it's fine. And he's like, all right, and so then he's like, all right, Tim, like one day he came to me and he was like,
all right,
do you actually want to try it? And he's like you think it's cool and like you actually think you're gonna do it, like do you actually want to try it? So he pulled it out, a pack of cigarettes. and he's like, so I'm asking you because like you want to try it, and so then he's like, all right, like come outside, we're not gonna like do it in here, because he like gave me one and I was holding it, and he's like, all right, now let me, and he lit it.
My mom would never.
He lit it, okay?
Wow.
And he gave it to me, and he's like, do you know how to use that? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, and I started coughing all over, like, and then I tried again, and then I did it, like, and I coughed more. But then he was like, see what you're doing to your lungs? See what that is? It's not cool. That's terrible.
Wow.
And he's like, did you learn anything? And I'm like, yeah, I think if I work on it, I can do it without coughing. That's so good.
What did you say?
I said, well, if I work on it, he said, did you learn anything? It's like that's like really bad for you. You cough so much, and it's like, yeah, I cough so much. If I did it a bit more, if I learned how to do it better, I don't think I'd cough so much.
That's what he learned from it. That's probably not what he wanted you to learn. He wanted you to go, this is terrible, I'm never going to smoke again.
Yeah.
See, I'm different. I always thought that the idea of, like, I loved, like, the little Popeye sticks, because I like putting them in the mouth, like it's like a smoke type thing. But I was never actually interested in smoking. But my mom was so afraid that I would be. She was like, don't do that, you're going to trick yourself into wanting to smoke, and that type thing. But for me, I actually compared more to, like, you know, like in movies when people will put like the little like cowboys will put the little like like weed or whatever in the, like not weed but like the
straw.
Like straw in their mouth. Like that's what I compare it to. Like just having something like in your mouth. I think that looks cool.
Toothpick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's
exactly.
what I think of it.
That's
Oh yeah, but I wasn't holding it. I was like.
So he was a bad kid.
With the pencil, I was like.
He was he was getting high on that lead.
Yeah, he was.
And my dad's like, "That's so gross. You know what you're doing." He's like, and I was like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm smoking a pencil." Man, imagine if I just took out the lead and lit the end. I could smoke the lead.
Hey guys, should we use this moment of silence? That wasn't actually a moment. I jumped in to go and talk about dads and make it our second podcast.
But I think Chris is leaving.
Yeah.
Chris, come
Chris
on,
has
man.
got to go to youth.
I know you want to go. And
But
you
yeah,
definitely
like
have
I
to go.
remember dad doing the same thing
To you?
Do you?
with both of us. I thought. But,
Yeah. He might have done it a separate time with you because you were joking
Maybe.
around with it too.
And
That's
like,
insane.
and yeah, and you know,
I think
pretty much same thing. And let me try it. I was like, oh, it's disgusting. How could anybody even want to do that?
Yeah.
So it worked with me.
With
Yeah.
him.
I went on to get
not with
addicted.
Tim.
He just wanted to do it, so you can't stop it. That you know,
Yeah.
if he wanted to do it, he wanted to do it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm a bit more stubborn than Chris.
I was like, oh yeah, this is disgusting and horrible.
Yeah.
I had asthma, so like I would get accidental secondhand smoke and almost die. So I realized very early on that it was not going to happen for me.
Right.
Actually, smoking's supposed to help asthma. It's when
You're
you're
a
trying to
liar.
stop smoking.
I had a room and that had a window, and we had neighbors, and they would come outside and they would smoke right next to my window, and I'd leave my window open because the house would be too hot, and my mom likes the house hot, and so she wouldn't turn on any air conditioning, so I'd have my window
No
open,
wonder you have asthma.
and then in the middle of the night I would just not be able to breathe and be like, oh crap, and I'd have to go and shut the window because smoke would come in and I'd start to die.
Oh,
What?
my.
Smoke
From your neighbors?
Yeah, secondhand smoke from them
Oh,
smoking
because
outside
they were.
the window.
Oh, that's
Wow.
terrible.
I don't blame the neighbors. I blame myself for breathing.
You should have stopped breathing, Mitchell.
Oh, Mitch.
I apologize.
Okay, so we're heading into about an hour here. Chris, are you wanting to
Really?
discuss youth?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for him to text me. I think that's it for this episode, guys.
Well, yeah.
We
See
will.
you next time.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later.
We'll
Talk to
talk.
you later.
Love you.
Bye.
I love you. Please download this and listen every day.